Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this narration of the book, The Care and Feeding of Humans, Book 2, all about the Lynaeids. There is a link in the description for the entire playlist. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Part 19, Healing Techniques. Lynaeids, unlike most other species in the aggregate, actually heal faster in seawater. It's called wet wound healing, and seems to result in faster healing and fewer scars than traditional healing. There have been a number of attempts to replicate this style of wet wound healing on other species with limited success. Lynaeids state that this is the mother of seas that make their waters more healing than just plain seawater. New studies are underway to see if there is some microbial action at work in the Lynaeid sea water. Dubious Review of Ontological Species Studies, all about Lynaeids healing techniques, published by Glass and Steel, all about Lynaeids, translation engine 3.1415. As Nate and Alan carried Captain Rackham back to the ship, Quirf and Turf hurried towards them with masks slung over their shoulders. Bubsy wasn't with them. "What happened?" Turf asked at the same time Quirf did. "Is he okay?" "His leg is hurt," Alan said. "We've got him. Where's Bubsy?" "We convinced her to stay in Nerif and Zoe's cabin," Turf said. "I think that she decided she'd rather be there than back in the surf." "And we brought the masks," Quirf said, holding out a bunch of masks like a catch of fish. Then he looked at the captain. "It looks like you don't need them now, though." Taking the captain back to the ship was much faster than tracking him from the ship had been. A low-cloud cover had moved in, which cooled things off nicely and suggested that there might be rain. But none fell until just as they reached the ship. Zoe entered the ship first, sprinting ahead of everyone else. Once Nate and Alan brought Captain Rackham in, Zoe called to them from the medical bay, and they carried the captain back to her and put him on the table. Zoe sliced open the captain's pant leg, and Nerif bit back a gasp. "Captain Rackham," Zoe said, "I don't know anything about troll physiology. How bad is this, and what kind of treatment would you recommend?" Captain Rackham propped himself up on one arm with a grimace and looked at his leg. His red skin grew paler, and he lay back down on the table. "Scan for broken bones, I think," he said. "Nothing we can do about any breaks right now. Spray foam on the cuts. Start back for the shuttle tomorrow. We should take the seashore route." He closed his eyes, and his voice grew softer. "Not sure when the tides go out here, or for how long. Should have checked that before I left." While the captain was been talking, Zoe was scanning the captain's leg. "Nerif, what do you think?" Zoe said, and beamed the scan to the large video wall. "See here and here. This is what a good leg looks like. But here, the scans of his right leg show dark and light spots that I don't see in his left leg." Nerif nodded. "I see the spots. What does it mean?" Zoe leaned against the wall. "I have no idea. I don't even watch medical shows, and unless Quirf or Terif are hiding medical skills that none of us know about, I don't think there's any way for us to know." Everyone looked at Terif, who he looked up to see everyone staring at him. "What?" he said. "I don't have secret medical degree." "Of course not," Terif said, then turned back to Zoe. "I think the only thing that we can do is get him back to the shuttle as soon as possible. We will continue scan his leg and see if anything changes. The medical gear on the shuttle will at least have been designed for trolls in mind." Nate and Terif had been applying pressure to the cuts on Captain Rackham's leg, while Quirf sprayed foam to sterilize and glue the cuts shut. Captain Rackham lay still on the table, but his breathing seemed steady. Gradually, his color returned and he regained consciousness. Nerif leaned over to him. "How are you feeling?" "I've been better," he said, and then put his hand behind his head and smiled. "I've been worse too. I remember after my first wedding, I thought I was going to die." "Do you feel like you can sit up a little?" Nerif asked. "I do," the captain agreed, and Nerif adjusted the bed to move into a sitting position, while still trying to leave his leg slightly elevated. Since the bed had evidently been designed for human-sized bodies, Captain Rackham's feet hung over the end of the bed. Nate walked up and compad showing Terif a copy of the map on it. "Where did you—" the captain started to say, and then glanced at Nerif. "Oh, you scanned it. Clever girl." Nerif shook her head. "I didn't have time to scan it. I'm afraid the one you gave me was destroyed by the water. Tariff had this copy on his compad. "Well done, Tariff." "Thank you, Captain," Tariff said, blushed a light shade of purple. Tariff remembered that he and Quirf had been fetching breathing masks when she and Zoe had talked about the captain's deceits. Tariff still liked the captain. "We've been checking the map over," Nate said. "Because the river curved around, we're actually pretty close to the shuttle. If we were in all good shape, we could make it there by tonight. But since you're injured, Captain, I think that we should set off at first thing tomorrow. We can probably make it to the shuttle before dark." "You're not going to carry him back to the shuttle at a dead run, are you?" asked Nerif, slightly horrified. It had taken 2 humans to carry Captain Rackham back to the ship. "No, but I have to modify my cunning plan a bit," Nate said. Nerif could just hear the capital letters when he said it. Someone had let Fubsy out when they had gotten back to the ship, because she walked over to Nate and scratched out, begging to be picked up. Nate handed the compad over to Nerif and picked up Fubsy, rolling her on her back to give her tummy rubs. When she had enough, she grabbed his hand with her claws, not as gently as one could wish, and Nate set her back down on the floor. "We have to work on it today, but it should be ready for tomorrow," Nate said. "We'll still be able to take the FTL drive with us, right?" Captain Rackham asked. "We're trying to work that out right now, but if not, we'll leave the FTL drive here and take you to the shuttle," Nate said. "No! We need to take that back with us. It's our payload," Captain Rackham explained with a smile. "Once we get to the shuttle," Nate said, "we can come back and get it. You'll probably be more comfortable in the shuttle's sickbay." Nate gestured to the captain's feet sticking out from the bed. "I would at that," Captain agreed. Nerif joined the boys outside the ship later in the day. "Look, you stupid droid," Nate yelled to the droids. "Work together. Do you understand? Left, right, left, right." The droids were walking around the ship with Quirf's raft tied to the top of them. "This isn't as hard as a potato sack race," Nate yelled, "and Alan's won 2 of those."
3,
Alan said, not looking up from the compad, "but I think I have a code worked out. Stand back, just in case." Nate hastily stepped away from the droids. Alan beamed commands from the compad to the 2 robots, and Nate whooped with joy when the droids started walking in tandem. "We still need to cut the raft down to a smaller and more manageable size," Quirf called out. "What is that contraption?" Nate looked up and grinned. "It's called a palanquin. It's for carrying royalty. But I think it will work to carry our wounded captain and the FTL drive too." End of chapter. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Bezic, Try Again 95, Pudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Ithilia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksmorm. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.